Okay, I honestly feel like I need to play our intro music trying to get us in the vibe.
I agree.
Because the first time we didn't have it, and like...
Did
you listen to our podcast the first time?
No.
You didn't at all?
Oh my.
It's like when I finish a report, I don't read it afterwards.
Oh.
John's never edited a paper.
What?
Live lovely.
So our intro music's
Who's that?
amazing.
Who sings that?
That's Maria.
That's Maria.
Oh.
Wow, way to listen to our podcast, John.
The fakest of all fans.
Honestly, oh my god.
He's also a host on the show.
All right, so we are back for podcast number 2. We got a clap! Yes! Yeah, it's great to be back for our second podcast. Sorry for the super long hiatus. It's just very hard to coordinate 5 people's schedules, and it's just... Plus, we all get busy, you know.
And it snowed.
It snowed. That was a big event.
Mm-hmm.
We're using that as our excuse.
Yes, we are.
And thank you for all the great feedback on the first podcast. And just a reminder that we do have that Google form up on the SBU Langmuir Facebook page. So if you have any suggestions for us, feel free to fill out that form. Let's check to see if there's any questions. Oh, here's one. Have you ever done badly in a class?
Yes.
Yeah.
John? Okay, what happened to you?
I mean, like, what's your definition of do badly? Get a low grade?
I
Yeah,
think
I've gotten
that's
low grades.
I think it's very unique to the person.
Yeah.
So, like,
Yeah.
doing a low grade. So what happened when you got a low grade?
I just got a C+. That was, like, my lowest
Was that like
grade.
a major class?
I guess, yeah. It was part of my major.
That would be a major
That
class.
would be a major
It was
class.
just something where it's just like, you know when you're sitting in class and then, like, you're paying attention, and then sometimes it was, like, really clicking, your mind, like, starts kind of, like, putting the pieces together, and you feel, like, the pressure in your mind, like, this is working out. I just didn't have that in this class, and I just really didn't care at the end, really. I just, like, calculated the minimum grade I needed on the final to get a C, and then I got a C+, and I was like, yay!
Yeah. I took Spanish here, what was it? My freshman or sophomore year. The Spanish 2, my professor said basically, you need an 85 on the final to get a C in this class.
What?
I was like, what? I thought I did so well. I've been doing so well in the homeworks, but apparently not so well on the test. So I was like, okay, Joseph, we're gonna study hard. And I did this whole montage of me studying Spanish. Like I called my mom, who spoke Spanish every day, my grandmother, just so they can help me. And then I got a 76 on the final, but still managed somehow to get a C+ because of the curve. It was great. That was the only time I like prayed for that C. Mm-hmm. And honestly, that C, it was a tough class. I'm done. I took the C, and I'm proud of it, you know?
Yeah, I think my definition of doing badly in a class is when I could have done better, but I didn't because I was lazy. And that's happened to me way too many times throughout college. And I think that especially happens when it's a class that I don't really care about, like just like an SPC or something, like as opposed to a class for my major, something I'm really invested in. So I always like look back and I'm like, damn, like why couldn't I have just studied a little harder for that first test? I would be in a better place right now. But I think like motivation plays a big role in like if you do bad or not.
I agree completely.
Yeah. I mean, it just gets at you. If you just don't like the class and you're spending how much months is a semester? Like 3?
3, yeah.
Yeah, you're spending 3 months in a class you don't like. It's hard to keep motivated.
It really does come down to how much you like the class.
Yeah.
Even if a class is difficult, if I'm enjoying it, I can do well without any problem at all.
Yeah.
But it could be the easiest class. Literally, my lowest politics grade, I'm a political science major, folks. My lowest politics grade that I've gotten in any class was Pol 101. Because I hated it.
No, honestly, I get that. I think that's a feeling for most intro classes. Because, like, the Bio 2 somethings are really hard. The Psych 103, everyone hates.
Yeah.
Like, the intro classes are just so hard. And you just hear, like, can I get over it so I can do my major?
So today's topic is about finding your place, you know, finding where you belong in college. I feel like that's something that is good for people who are ending their first semester of college because you've been in college for a little while so far and you've tried a bunch of different things, you've met a lot of different people, and you're trying to figure out where you fit best. I feel like you're kind of at a weird crossroads sometimes at the end of your first semester. Maybe you join like 5 clubs and you want to drop like 3 of them or something. You're trying to figure out like where you fit best. So when was that moment for you? Like, how did you find out where you fit best at Stony Brook? If you even feel like you do have a place where you fit best.
I feel like I had that moment like a couple times. Like, my first semester, if those of you who watched like the last podcast, I'm gonna repeat myself, sucked. Like, it was horrible. 10 out of 10 bad eggs, you know. But when I did that EOP summer after my freshman year, I found myself as a TA. Like, I loved that job. Like, that job was just the best thing in the world. Not even because like I was TAing for math, and math is like, okay, I'm bad at it, but like, you know, I'm good enough to be a TA for it. But like, just the fact that I was able to like help the students and like at that aha moment that my teachers always talk to me about, and I understand like what they were saying. So like, that was like one moment. And then there was a moment, you know, I found myself as an RA, because I'm over here like, am I really gonna make a good RA? When I was going through those classes, when I was going through those classes, I was just like, I don't know if, you know, if I'm gonna be good at event planning, or if I really want to talk to people all the time 24/7. But actually being an RA, I found myself as an RA. I was just like, you know, I do these things and they seem like normal things, and people will be like, you know, you're an amazing RA because you did this one thing. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I meant to do that purposely and with reason.
It's actually kind of good if you haven't like found your place. I'm a really big fan of not getting stuck in a clique of like people just kind of like in high school there were like cliques of people, like kind of like the same people generally stuck together with the same group and everything, and I didn't want to get stuck with that. So I had like people in H Quad I hung out with. I had a lot of people just around campus I hung around with. I got like a little bit too invested in a club my freshman year, which I think I could have done a lot more if I wasn't too invested in. So really, it's good that you find your place, but sometimes if you don't find your place, that's opens it up to explore a little bit more, which is always good.
It's time for our special guests. So I guess you can all just kind of go around and introduce yourselves. So you can just kind of say your name, your year, your major, and just anything you want our audience to know about you. And it's primarily Langmuir people who are listening, so we all know you. But if you want to say a little spiel about yourself, any of you want to start?
Sure, I'll start. My name's Adam. I live in D1, and my major is clinical lab sciences.
He's Joseph's resident. Yeah!
I was gonna say this is my resident, but...
My name's Natalie Chang. I live on A2 with Erica, and I'm a bio major on a pre-vet track.
Yeah. Yes! Okay.
Hello. Okay. Hello. I'm Taya. I live in Gershwin, but I lived in Langmuir my first 2 years at Stony Brook, and I'm a poli-sci major.
You live in Gershwin. How's that?
It's nice. I can't lie. I like it.
Oh, because I lived in Hendricks my first 2 years, so I'm like a Roth native.
Oh, okay. That's what's up.
It's like you swap from like
Yeah.
So Taya, I love Taya, first of all. Taya was one of my first residents, A3, 2 years ago. But yeah, good times, good room.
Yeah. If I do say so myself.
Yeah, but so you switched your major recently, and you're also involved in quite a bit on campus. So what made you want to change your major?
Well, it was basically I just didn't like it. I didn't like any of the classes I was taking really, and I feel like not every college student is gonna like every class that they're taking, but I feel like they can at least understand that it's for like some goal. Like, I'm taking this right now so I can do this. I couldn't understand what I was doing it for at all anymore, so I just switched.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Fun fact, Taya switched out of the major that I'm currently in, and I actually really understand all that you're saying, because it's kind of annoying if you don't want to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you're involved in a lot of different clubs, so like, how did you get involved in that?
Well, I was in music and medicine, and I learned about that from my roommate. She was in it, and my roommate was Abigail, and we sang together a lot. So she was like, "Hey, you should join this club on campus called Music and Medicine. It's like where we perform at like the hospitals and the child care centers and stuff, sort of like a music therapy type thing." So I joined that, and then a friend of mine who was in Music and Medicine was also in the Stony Brook by Pets, and she was like, "Hey, you have a nice voice. You should audition." And I delayed it for a while because I don't know. I guess I didn't like the idea of it. But then last semester I was like, yeah, why not? Give it a try, and I auditioned. I got on, and I really like it so far.
That's awesome. Yeah. Well, Natalie and Adam are both first-year students, which is really exciting. So do you feel like you found your place at Stony Brook yet?
I feel like that's such a hard question to answer.
Yeah,
like,
it's hard for me too, and I'm a senior.
What even is your place, though? I feel pretty comfortable, though. Like, in high school, I feel like you fall into, like, that clickiness of, well, you are this, this, and this, so you should be friends with those people over there. But college is, like, no one really cares. So, like, you're just kind of friends with who you want to. I mean, I'm not in any clubs yet, but, like, I'm working on it. Mm-hmm. And I'm excited, but I don't know, like, if what I'm doing is right, and that's, like, terrifying sometimes.
What do you mean by that, like, not knowing that it's right?
Because, like, especially for me, since I'm pre-vet, there are 14 vet schools in all of the United States. So, like, it feels like all my moves have to be very planned out. And, like, if I make a wrong move, it could actually, like, cost me my career because I have to, like, maintain a certain GPA, like, above 3.5 is, like, basically minimum. And, like, if you slip up for, like, 1 year, one class, that can actually, like, make or break your career, which is low-key very terrifying. But
yeah, what about you, Adam?
Honestly, when I came here, I was alone. I only had one other person from my high school come here, and he's not even in H-Quad at all. I see him occasionally, but he's I think, electrical engineering major, so we don't have any classes together either. I saw him after an electrical engineering test, and he looked not good. I'm not part of a clique either, and I didn't have that feeling in high school because my high school was tiny. It was 460 people total. So
you say 460 people is small?
Yeah, that's big.
Like,
what's wrong
total?
with you?
Yeah.
In your class?
No, 120 in my class, 460
okay.
Total.
Okay. I was like, that's huge.
That's still pretty big for me. My class was 87.
Okay,
Bro.
folks. Mine was 17, so
Yeah.
let's calm it
Wait,
down. Yeah.
The school my brother went to had 3,000 people total. I don't know if that's relatively big.
Wow.
I think my school had like 1,000.
Yeah, mine too.
But yeah, you
Mine
were
was
saying.
like 150.
Honestly, I feel like I'm just not doing enough with the classes I've got, like chemistry. I feel like it's just been such a rocky path. It's been ridiculous with some stuff. Like the second test, I felt prepared, didn't go well. Third test, I felt terrified, went all right. And at the same time, I don't know if I'm putting in as much effort as I should because, well, I don't know what I want to do. Like I said, clinical lab sciences, but at the same time, I don't know if my class schedule for next semester is correct. I've tried to meet with an advisor, but there was a communication issue. And it is scary, I'm not going to lie.
I feel like it's not as important to find your place, quote unquote, as it is to understand yourself in a variety of different places because the circumstances surrounding your life are constantly going to change, and the only constant there is that you're stuck with yourself for all of it. So you should get to know who that person is, what that person likes, and how to properly take care of them, and them being you, so that whatever place you are in, you can find part of it and make it your own.
That's so true. Like, the amount of growth I've had in college, like, each year, each semester I've been is honestly unreal. I'm always, like, learning more things about myself.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like everyone I talk to who's, like, in college or, like, out of college, it's like, you grow so much in college, but, like, when did you realize, like, oh, I'm different than who I was? Like, was there a moment where you're, like, within, like, a semester, 2 semesters, 2 years, like, that you were, like, I'm different, and like how did you like recognize that, and what was different?
That's a good question.
I have a story. So
Ooh, story time with Joseph.
I have definitely told like you guys this because I use it as like my great example of like overcoming adversity. So it was the summer after the summer of my sophomore year, right? Basically, it costs around $1,500 to live here during the winter and take one class. I had the money plus $100 saved up. Like, it was good, it was fine, it was perfect, right? The day before I was going to pay for my classes, however, my family decided to use that money for other expenses like rent and electric because their bills were piling up, right? And so, you know, end of the day, I had $100 in my account, and I owed around, I think it was like $1,500 to $1,800. So I was like, I don't know what to do. I went to the EOP office, and I literally like went to one of their counselors. I was crying. And I don't cry that often, like fairly often, but not too much to like warrant concern. So I was like, listen, I don't know what to do. Everything's due. Am I gonna be able to live here still? I don't know. I was crying while saying this. She was like, listen, calm down. Everything's going to be fine. We're going to work something out, right? It's not the end of the world. So basically, I had to work like 80 hours, 40 hours a week, 80 bi-weekly, right? Plus taking the class and all that stuff during that whole winter. And that was tough. And at the end of it, it felt like I climbed the mountain and like defeated God all at once. And it was just like that. After that, I was like, I really did that. I couldn't believe I really did that. Like, for the first time in my life, I can honestly say, like, I handled my own problem by myself, completely by myself. You know what I mean? Like, in that moment was, like, I changed. Like, I evolved.
It's like Pokemon.
Huh? Oh, writing 102.
Wow, you did all that for writing 102.
Oh, yeah, and writing 102 was tough during the winter, too. Yo, an essay every week, and then, like, I couldn't write anything days 1 through 4, so then I ended up writing stuff 5, like, the fifth night.
It's an accident, and you're not going to know until it's over. And sometimes it's just, like, a quiet moment, and you're by yourself, and you're like, whoa, a year ago, everything in my life was different than it is now. And you don't realize until, like, you're past the rough bits of it. Mm-hmm. And then there'll be new rough bits. And then a year later, you'll be like, whoa. And you won't know. Like, when stuff gets bad, you're like, this is horrible. I hate it. There's nothing negative. There's all things negative. There's nothing positive happening here. And it sucks. And you're mad at the world. And you're mad at yourself. And it's just like, why is everything like this? And then you either learn from it or
die.
You fail. And then you learn from the failure. And those are pretty much the only two options. Either way, if you're paying attention, you're going to learn a lesson. Even if you don't know it at the time. You just got to accept it. Take the hard stuff. Even if you're like, there's no possible way this could be good. It could be.
What do you think you were like in high school?
Me?
Yeah.
I was a wreck. What do you mean? Oh my God.
You were a wreck?
Well, my graduating class was 17 kids. So you were either friends with them or you didn't have friends. And so I'd convinced myself I liked them until I didn't. And then I didn't have friends for like 2 years. And then I didn't know, like, my school was very weird. Well, not weird. It was like a tiny private school. There was no, like, there was like 3 extracurricular activities, and I was involved in like 2 of them, and I didn't want to play basketball. So like, I was kind of a teacher's pet. I started a bunch of clubs, and my guidance counselor would tell people my SAT score because she was proud of me, which I'm pretty sure was illegal. And I just, like, wanted it to be over super badly. And yeah, I came into college, and I didn't want to be friends with anyone because I was so scared to trust people after high school. And I was like, I'm going to go to college, I'm going to learn things, I'm going to get a degree, and I'm going to leave. I'm not going to talk to anyone. And then that lasted all of, like, 5 minutes when I met my sweet mate Serena in the elevator on my way up to move into my room. And I was terrified of everything all the time. And sometimes I still am. But now I can do things while I'm terrified.
I feel like that's a good life lesson is to be scared of something,
Mm-hmm.
but, like,
Do
get
it
over
anyway.
it.
You can still do the thing.
Yeah, it's like when my family took, like, a trip to Mount Rainier, which is in Washington, like, the state, and there's, like, this huge bridge. Well, no, it's not a huge bridge. It's a very small 1-lane bridge that goes over a very large gorge.
Okay.
It is probably a good 500-foot drop to the bottom. And my dad and my sister were like, let's get out of the car and look at it. And I was like, my palms were very sweaty because I don't do well with heights. So I, like, got out Yes.
I'm sorry, were your
Joseph.
knees weak?
My knees were weak.
Okay.
Knees
are
weak.
heavy.
Arms heavy.
Vomit on a sweater already. Mom, spaghetti!
Oh my God.
Drop bombs. Anyways.
Right. So, like, I got out of the car, and I was like, well, I was, like, in the car, and I was, like, gripping, like, every part of the car. Like, no, this is not gonna happen. First of all, you could feel, like, as a car drove past, you could feel the bridge physically shake, like, as it drove over. So I was like, this thing's gonna collapse. And then, like, I was like, you know what, Natalie? I know you. If you don't get out of this car, you're gonna be like, later today, be like, I should have gotten out. So, like, now I, like, force myself to do things that make me uncomfortable, because, like, sometimes it's just for the experience and not for, like, because then, like, when you're, like, in an amusement park and you don't go on a ride that all your friends are going on, and you're like, wow, I should have gone on that ride. That's such a disappointing feeling.
I think the most important word of advice I can give is, I don't care if you're scared, and I'm not going to tell you to not be scared, but just do the thing anyway.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Unless the thing is like drugs or alcohol or anything weird, then I don't allow it at all.
Don't die, kids.
Don't do drugs.
Solid advice. Don't die.
That's the words that I live by. Don't die.
I think my moment when I found out, like, or when I realized that I grew since high school was when I went back home over winter break, and I met up with my old high school friends.
Yeah, for me, it was like, I still liked my high school friends.
Yeah.
Like, I'm blessed to have been, like, have a group that I, like, love, and, like, we've grown together and all that joke grow stuff. But the way I was interacting with them was different. Like, I felt myself be different. And, like, at home, like, everything was exactly the same. Like, my room was exactly the same. Everything was fine at home. But I felt different being in the same place that I was in for, like, 20 years. So it was like, wow.
Yeah.
What about you, Adam? How was your first time going home?
It was weird, I'm not gonna lie. The first thing was the facial hair. I actually didn't have it coming into college. I forgot my razor. So, when my friends from high school saw me, they were in shock, and they were like, "You should keep it." They said I should grow out in high school, and I never wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, it was weird just going home and reflecting on how high school was compared to college, because it was tough adjusting here, because like I said earlier, I didn't really have any friends coming here. So I had to just get involved and try to make new friends, and I found that not difficult but not easy. So when I did talk with my friends from high school, they were telling me how their college experience was, because they all, like, the friends I did talk to, they all go to the same CUNY school, which is Hunter. So they didn't really have a tough time finding people there. But it was weird. We reflected on how high school was, and it was just so much different than what it is now.
It is really different for sure. And I think Brianna has a funny story from high school.
I was a mean person. Yes, I was. Oh my God. Especially to my boyfriend. So I grew up in a family where, like, it's tough love. Like, words were expressed just to hurt your feelings, to make you feel inferior, to degrade you, but that was going to help build me up. Yeah. Discipline was different. But that's how I grew up, tough love. And I noticed that I also brought that same way that I grew up over here. And, like, for example, whenever I get into an argument, I would start to raise my voice. And I learned that in college, I learned that raising your voice doesn't really help the problem. Like, it doesn't. But that's what I learned from my family at home, so I brought it over here and did the same thing. I saw that I was living unhappily like that. Like, I wasn't happy with who I was. But now that I came to college and I'm in classes and, like, I've been talking to people, I learned that the same cultures that I have at home, or the same discipline and the ways that I grew up, yes, they're great to have and keep. However, just adapt to the environment and learn better ways to make yourself feel better or live a happier life, because, like, you don't want to live an unhappy life. And raising my voice was not making me happy. So I learned to change my behaviors.
Yeah, I like the relationship I have with Bria, because, like, I got to see her fresh out of high school, fresh into college, because I was, like, one of her TAs during the EOP summer program. So, like, I got to see that little snippet of high school Bri transitioning to college Bri.
Oh my God.
I remember one time, and you were talking to me about this. Like, I didn't remember her being mean in this situation, but reflecting upon it, you know, some things were said. So basically, like, we were in the math room, and she was trying to get math help. There was like 5 TAs to like 20 students. So we were trying to like get to everyone, but we couldn't. And Bri was feeling a little like pressured because the summer academy is like rigorous. So like she was frustrated that she couldn't get help in the immediate time she needed to get help. And yeah, she wasn't the nicest person at that time. But seeing her now, I'm over here like, wait, she yelled? When did she yell? I didn't know she had the capacity to yell. You know? She's just such like a nice person now, and it's just like, well, yeah. I can't remember her as a mean person, but I think back to that one instance, and I'm like, I could picture it.
Maybe she was yelling on the inside.
She probably
Maybe
was.
I
Did you slide looking at us from under the your cap?
when I'm under pressure. Oh no! At my weakest point.
Get her to play Monopoly, and you will see her true self.
Oh no!
Oh, this guy got me so upset.
You will see her true self.
Monopoly is a dangerous game.
I was the banker.
I don't be playing that.
I was the banker.
How are you that mad as a banker?
So I told them, if you pass the 200 mark and you don't tell me to give you the money, then I'm not gonna give you the money.
Oh my god.
Because I'm the bank. You
Basically
go to the bank
being
to
a
get
bad
money,
banker, by
right?
the way.
So this guy been past the 200 mark. He's like, I want my 200. I'm like, you've been past it. I'm sorry, I'm not giving you the 200. And he was mad at me, and I'm mad at him because he's still on me and pressuring me. And I'm like, I'm not giving you the 200. All right, I'm done.
You go to the bank to get money.
It'd be like that.
I am Bri. Welcome to my TED Talk.
Oh my god.
The lizard thing.
Well, yeah.
The what?
By the way,
Remind me what that is again?
Sonia made all these names, so
Oh,
It's when we
just connect her
kind of
faces.
interview them like a little more, like our special guests.
Oh, okay.
You
The
okay?
pressure's on.
Wait. What is one central core value?
Wait. Just do the intro. Do be like it's a.
Oh my god.
She's really good at it.
And now for a lick of the lizard.
So basically, that segment is when we kind of like interview our special guests like a little more, because like I guess the cool thing about the podcast is that because we put it online, it's kind of like there forever. It's kind of like our living legacy after we leave Langmuir. So if there are any future residents who listen one day, maybe, hopefully, in like 50 years, they're gonna like hear about us and hear the fun times we're having in the buildings. We're kind of ask you guys some stuff about yourselves, so we can kind of like keep you in Langmuir's memory forever, in a sense. So Taya, since you left Langmuir, but now you're back, they always come back. What is your favorite Langmuir memory?
Oh, wow. Okay. So my first hall council, well, I have like a few. My first hall council was really fun. It was like, well, that's why I met like all of the RAs, like besides Guneet. Like I met Noah, and I met Shane, and I met Bella, and I met like most of the friends that I have now, actually, at that hall council. And then we played a big game of Mafia afterwards, and that was a really fun time. Oh, my first Midnight Scream was also really fun. It helps like a lot. Like I'm not really like a screamer. Like I don't really be yelling about things, but like,
Not like Bria.
yeah. But letting out that much frustration like around everybody, and we're all just like it was really fun. I don't know. There's so many. My first all-nighter was fun. Don't do it. Yeah, I don't suggest you do it, but it was fun because, like, again, it was like a bunch of us just staying up, slowly losing our minds at like 6 a.m. Yeah, I don't know. I have a lot.
That's good. Hopefully, we all walk away with just really good memories.
Yeah.
What is your favorite part about living in Langmuir, Natalie?
My favorite part of living in Langmuir? I guess the people. Because I definitely, like, most of my friends are here. Like, I have a few friends, like, spread out across the campus that I've just met here and there, but, like, most of my friends are here. And I think it's just really fun, like, getting to know, like, all the RAs. Because I remember, like, first coming in, I was like, ooh, RAs. I've heard about these people. They can really bust your chops. And I was like, what if they hate me? And then, like, I got to know you guys, and they're like, oh, they're actually people, and not, like, just, like, scary people who can yell at you.
Yeah. A few weeks later, me and you were wearing those crop tops.
Oh, yeah, we were matching crop top sweatshirts. They're beautiful. I'm so surprised that you actually let me convince you to buy one.
There wasn't much convincing. I
was literally like,
you want
to get something matching? And you were like,
yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, what? And I was like, you were like, let me find something that I actually like. And then the one thing that you picked was like a crop top. And I was like, does he realize this is a crop top? Does he?
I realized the whole time it was a crop top. It's still a look.
He rocked it.
That's what's up.
I mean, like, it's so warm though.
It really is.
Because it's one of those, like, you know, the teddy,
Ooh, I love that.
things. They're like the in thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's like that material, so it's super, super warm. Because I remember we had the glow party right after, and I was, like, dancing and dying at the same time because, like, it was a very sweaty, gross mess. But then I just, like, went outside because it was really cold. But, yeah, people are cool. I mean, I've already met some people who I'm, like, super close with. Like, Rithika and, like, Tommy and Tommy's roommate, Zach. We're kind of, like, we call each other the Brain Trust, the four of us.
Oh,
It's
so
a Scrubs reference because they have a thing called the Brain Trust and it's 4 people. But yeah. I know that's so like mushy-gushy, but
No, I love
No, that's
that.
adorable.
Brain Trust.
That's awesome. What about you, Adam?
Honestly, my favorite thing here is the hall councils.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think it was the Tuesday before the break. I was studying psychology with my friend and her roommate, and hall council was going to happen in like 30 minutes. And when it did happen, they were like, why is it so lively?
Our budget speaks for itself.
Oof.
Yeah. The really funny thing is that this happens organically every year because like residents leave and then each year we kind of get a really great like crop of like people who are just that they're like a crop.
Yeah. Natalie and Adam, you two were part of a really good crop this year.
Oh, thanks.
You don't
It was a great
understand
harvest this
Like,
year.
we had
Great harvest.
We're pieces of corn.
It's really weird. It keeps happening. We always hope that it will in the beginning of the semester. There's that like tension. We're like, is it still gonna be good? And then it always is.
Shrek don't mess
We
up.
were talking about it too.
Yeah, they got rid of the asbestos and it's still good. So we know it's not that.
I feel like it's a mix of like the people who remain from the year previous who like, and also the fact that you're in leadership and service.
Yeah.
You get like a bunch of people who are like, let's lead.
Yeah. And a lot of people don't, upperclassmen when choosing rooms are less likely to choose HQuad. And so what ends up happening is we have more vacancies for the upcoming year. So what ends up happening is we have the most freshmen of any other quad too.
Really?
And yeah, freshmen
Get a
are
bunch
where
of
the life
young-
is at because y'all are still bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, and ready to rock, you know?
Alex killed me in the first week, so I'm neither of those.
I've been dead since birth. It's okay.
So
Do you mind, John?
I just want it's reflective.
Okay.
John's
are new.
catatonic for 20 minutes and he just leans over and flicks that
Right.
I thought it was,
For
steel
context.
toed. It's
Oh yeah. These are new shoes. For context,
they're very nice.
They were like 5 pounds. Not like weight wise, like money wise.
Oh, okay.
Because they're from a European store, and I got these and like some heels.
We all matching?
You want to get a pair?
They look cool.
I know, right?
Right, next segment.
And now,
Oh, it is.
for
It actually is.
Lizard Life Lessons.
So basically, it's kind of like our version of college life hacks. So usually, Brianna and Sonia come up with I don't know if you have something.
So, as the semester comes to a close and we're slowly anticipating our grades being uploaded onto Blackboard and then Solar, I just wanted to let you all know that emailing your professor, as long as you're polite, reasonable, thankful, and kind, can pretty much do no harm. It can do only neutral or good. So, if you're struggling in a class, email the professor, let them know what you're going through, and ask for some advice. Obviously, it's best if you do this earlier in the semester. After a first exam, maybe you didn't do as well as you thought, reach out and ask what you can do differently to do better. And at the end of the semester, I have emailed a professor or two to have something regraded, and I might have gotten a grade boost. So, remember, email your professors, because the worst thing they can say is no.
I have something. Okay, this is gonna be real stupid, but it has to do with yeast and like eating. So I'm like newly vegetarian, and I've learned how to like go into East, see things, and like match things with other things to make like a good combo. And if you like seltzer and you like lemonade, here's my recommendation. This is gonna be real stupid, but get some of like the under the Sprite. There's like one of those little like buttons that's like usually it says water, but it says soda, and you're like, what? And you like press it. And it's just straight seltzer, and I love seltzer. So get that. Fill your cup 3/4 of the way. Other fourth, lemonade. Sparkling lemonade. There you go. That's
What if
my
it's
hack.
full, then?
Sometimes the buttons get stuck, and it's terrifying.
Oh my god.
And it will just like pour out, and you're like, because like I don't want to waste the water, so I like try to pull the button out, but you can't pull the button out because it's so tiny, and then it just keeps going and going and going and going.
Incredible.
Remember that time when the water button got stuck and my cookie fell?
Yes.
That was the worst day of my life.
Wait,
So
the
I
water
was
button got stuck and the
okay,
cookie fell.
okay, it's fine. I was in Roth. I got a cookie from Starbucks. You know,
It was heated up and everything.
it was a good cookie. Like wow. And then someone got water from like the drink Subway, like the drink dispenser thing, and they pressed the water button and it kept like running. And this was like right after the UN thing came out saying we're all basically gonna be over by 2030. So I was like, all right, let me conserve water. So I go up to turn it off, and I get it to turn it off. I'm like, wow, I'm cool. And then I turn around and my cookie's on the floor, and I was like, what?
She stood up, she hit it with her leg and it fell. And I just watched her walk over and I'm like, oh.
I turn around and Sonia's like, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Like, I felt so bad. It was the worst day. Anyway.
You know,
But-
chocolate croissants from Starbucks. Best thing heated up.
I've actually never had one of those.
You should
We
get
got
one.
lots
I
of life
should.
hacks here.
I have a bit of advice based on our overall speak easy. That's not what this is. Basically,
Substance
I just
frequently.
think the most important part of understanding yourself and growth and finding who you are and where you're supposed to be is just to be kind to yourself and to be patient in the process. It's really easy for us to judge ourselves without realizing, especially when we have put ourselves in certain boxes in our minds. Perhaps you did marching band in high school, and then you get here, and now you think that you have to do it here too, because that's what you've always done, even though maybe you don't even enjoy it anymore. Or you want to try out for a sport, but you've never played a sport before, so you stop yourself all 4 years, and then you graduate, and you're like, I wish I would have tried out for the rugby team. If we don't judge ourselves and decide that I do this and I don't do this, and those are strict lines in the sand that we don't cross, then you open yourself up to experience a lot of new things, and you can potentially find something that you never knew you could enjoy before. So be patient, because growth will find you. Be kind to yourself, because you're the only constant in your life, and don't judge yourself based on who you used to be, because then you'll never find who you're supposed to be.
You're so adorable,
So
Sonia.
good. All right, on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Laying in there, folks!